Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Natasha Christopher. I'm Akeal Christopher's mom. And first, I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to say thank you to my son, Christopher Underwood, and Rashawn Christopher. I love you guys. On June 27, 2012, that's when my whole life changed. That's when my whole life changed. I never thought my son would be killed, shot on the last day of school. When Akeal was shot, my boys were, Christopher was 5, Rashawn was 10. Christopher is now 17, Rashawn is now 23. 12 years later, we're standing here. But I want people to know that this journey wasn't easy. I walked away from Bushwick community in tears, vowing just to only come and do candlelight vigils for my son. But last year when I returned here with Councilwoman Sandy Nurse, I remember my acts to her, but I also vowed never to come back here until they gave me that street. And let me tell you something, God don't make nothing happen before it's supposed to happen. So we're standing here 9 years later, and the street is now going to be called Akeal Christopher's Way. When my son was murdered and I was lost, I came in contact with Pastor Guilford Monroe's back then. I remember Nick Morgan right here, my son's youth pastor, introducing me to Pastor Gil. And I remember he called me and he was like, I'll meet with you when I'm going out of town. Nick, I was like, what kind of crazy man Nick sent me? This man ain't for real. He's never gonna call me. 2 weeks later he did. And that man has never left my side. I want to say thank you to Pastor Guilford and the God Squad, Pastor Hines, Pastor Straker, Pastor Charles, everyone. Please, if I can't remember your name, please. I love everyone, Marcia, everybody, the whole God Squad team. Thank you guys for always standing by my side, always believing in me. And to my mother, Sandra, Maxine, Jessica, Marie, Erica, Jennifer, Pam, Sherma, Hilda, Amanda,
Caroline,
the two Miss Davis, Caroline. When I got down on my knees and didn't know where to turn or if to take my life, I asked God to give me grace, and He gave it to me. And I decided that I was going to take my pain and turn it into purpose. And decided that no other mother I come in contact with will ever feel alone. And I have made that my mission from the day any of these mothers met me. I've always made sure that they have never felt alone. Put aside my feelings to make sure that they are good. And I've done that. And I love you guys, and I will do it. Thank you to Moms the Man Action, who has always been there with me from the first time I met you guys. You guys are true. Thank you to Kelly. When I see you, I'm going to call you, Kelly, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for Tyrone. Thank you to Monique.
I thank Natasha. Thank you so much for being brave. Thank you so much for continue doing. You had a small axe and you have a bigger axe. The small axe is like to have the street co-naming along with dad and your family. The bigger axe is to catch the person that did this to your son.
It's too many of us mothers crying. And it's too many of our sons and daughters dying.
I was standing here, I'm zoning out, like remembering the day I gave him $10 and he went through the door and I never seen him again. You know what I mean? That's things that mess with you, you know what I mean? But you trust in the Lord and you keep moving. That's all you can do.
Akeal spent a lot of time with me in church. I know he's in a better place. You gotta pray, because every time it comes to me, I pray. That's given me the inner peace. Akeal was born again. He went before his time. We are the flesh. We're gonna feel it. But the only answer to this is to get saved. And
That it gets better, 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 better. It's alright, try your eyes, send a prayer to the sky. I know it's hard to find, but you must believe that it gets better, better.
So for the past 2 years, the Akeal Christopher Community Center has been giving away scholarships to our students. This year, we had over 150 kids in the program, and the students who were eager to get a scholarship had to write an essay as to why they wanted the scholarship. So it was a panel of 3. They kept me out of it because they didn't want me to be biased. And after reading the scholarships, we decided to give this scholarship to Destiny Duncan. She will be receiving $500 from the Akeal Christopher Community Center.
Akeal is our ancestor, and he will never be forgotten. We're going to continue to fight, because yet, although today is a victorious day, full victory has not been achieved, because victory will be achieved when his murderer, whoever it is brought to justice.
No reason for him not to be here in this preventable plague of gun violence. Our nation has a demonic obsession with guns and guns and guns and guns. So many guns flowing, and we have to do more to prevent that. But even if the guns are here, I know we're trying to make sure that our young people don't pick them up and don't communicate with them. Therefore be resolved that I, public advocate for the city of New York, Jemima Williams, recognize Akeal Christopher, his memory, his kindness, joyfulness, and hope that his family is granted strength during this time of both sadness, yet commemoration. May it further be proclaimed that today is a day to remember Akeal Christopher, his family, whom he loved dearly, what he enjoyed in life, who he was, and his legacy. Jemima Williams, public advocate.
And God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far along the way. God, we lift up this family this afternoon, and God, we mark this spot, a spot of pain and a spot of hurt, but now a spot that is holy ground today, that has been named, that has been marked. God, we come before you even right now, lifting up this community and this block and the future that is yet to come. We pray for justice. Someone cry out justice. Someone cry out justice. We cry out for justice and for righteousness. That, Father God, that there would be an end to this case, that the perpetrator would be found. Hear the cry of a mother. Hear the cry of a family. Hear the cry of justice ringing forth.
I am Natasha Christopher. I'm Akeal Christopher's mom. We are out here for the co-naming of Cornelia Street to Akeal Christopher's Way. It's an amazing feeling because I worked so hard to get this street co-named after my son, but it's also bittersweet, right? It's also the day that changed my life. It's the day he got shot. So for me, I wanted to do something to celebrate Akeal. Akeal loved to eat, and Akeal always loved to give to the less fortunate. Not that these people are less fortunate, he just loved to eat and he loved feeding people. So I wanted to do something so people could celebrate my son's life and his legacy. And the marching band was amazing. I just wanted that, I've wanted that for so long. I've pictured this moment for so long, and I wanted to have a marching band here just to celebrate his life, to lift up his name, to lift up his spirit. For anybody who knows something, it's never too late to do the right thing. My son is still dead and his case is still unsolved, right? And I do need justice for my son, and I will not rest until the day I die.
Pastor Edward Richard Hines, president of the God Squad. Today we were witnessing the street co-naming of Akeal Christopher, one of our young men from the community who lost his life to senseless gun violence. We are so proud of Natasha. She is one who has really turned her pain into purpose, working with the God Squad and working with other survivors who have lost their children to gun violence, herself being a mom and being able to channel that energy into assisting other families. It is a remarkable feat, and we are just so proud of her strength. She's a woman of strength, of vigor, and one who is able to make a difference in the community. And we continue to make an appeal. Akeal Christopher died 12 years ago to senseless gun violence. If there is anyone who knows something, say something, because there's a family who's hurting. There's a mother, there's a father, there are grandparents, there's a village who's hurting. And even though we had a street co-naming today, it doesn't take the pain away. It can lead to some measure of resolution for the family who has to deal with this reality every day of their lives. So we appeal to all those, if there's anyone who knows something, please come forward and say something.
Peace and blessing, love and light, everybody. This is Jamani Williams, your public advocate. We are out here celebrating Akeal Christopher, the memory of Akeal Christopher. And his mom spent years trying to get a sign here so that we can remember who he is and make sure that we remember that a 15-year-old died needlessly, unnecessarily from gun violence, and his mom has turned that pain into purpose to try to prevent this from happening from other moms. So I salute her, I salute the family. We want to be out here to, as the pastor said, be able to mourn and celebrate at the same time. So.
Hi, Pastor Louis Straker Jr., 67 Precinct Clergy Council Board Chairman. On this day, June 27, 12 years ago, his life was tragically taken from us due to gun violence. So we've been working with his mom, Natasha Christopher, and the family, and they wanted to have a day where his name would be remembered and memorialized. And for 9 years, they waited for this, and this day has finally come. And yet we do not settle just for a name on a street corner. We still demand justice. We still demand that this perpetrator be brought to trial and convicted. And so we're still believing, we're still hoping that that will happen. But at least for today, we get a moment to celebrate his life and what he means to us. He'll forever be remembered. And so as we lift up his name, let us in the community also remember the work we need to do to end gun violence.
Today we was here for the co-naming of Akeal Christopher Way. Shout out to Natasha Christopher and Akeal's dad and the whole family and everybody here supporting, and our council member Sandy Nurse for making this happen today. Akeal was killed about 12 years ago as he was going to celebrate someone else's life. His life was taken, and his mom, Natasha Christopher, has been trying to get Cornelia Street and Evergreen renamed and co-named after that. And unfortunately, there was some pushback, but now she was able to do that today, and we was able to be here to celebrate with them. And we thank the city council member Sandy Nurse for making sure she passed the legislation to make this happen. So it's everybody coming together, and it's beautiful to see someone with so much pain turn into purpose to help others, and now for us to be able to give her that gift when her gift was taken from her.
As council member Sandy Nurse, I'm here today because I helped to pass the legislation to rename this block Akeal Christopher Way. When I got to know Natasha, I started to learn about her organization and the work that she's doing with other mothers, and I felt it was very inspiring. And her commitment to being in deep community with the other women who have lost and had their children taken away from them, and working to end gun violence. I mean, it was a very inspiring story. And her commitment and tenacity and persistence to get this for her son, I found very moving.